Alright guys, so in this video we're going to be covering target 2D.1, and our master learning objective is being able to identify the constant that will create what will be a perfect square trinomial. So the first thing is, well, what is a perfect square trinomial? A perfect square trinomial can be factored into two binomials. So perfect square trinomial can be factored into a binomial. So remember, binomial are the terms that has that x plus, some value, right? So a binomial multiply by itself. Alright, so remember that the quantity of x plus a squared. What did that mean? All this meant was that we were going to expand two binomials by itself, right? If we were to multiply that out using our Punnett square box, we would see that I would put in x plus a, and notice x plus a is also on that same side. So even the word square, what do we know about a square? Square has the same measurement on each side. So that is why we see the x plus a and x plus a on each side, because we're trying to complete the square. If we would multiply all of this out, we get x squared times xa times another xa times an a squared. When I write those in alphabetical order, I'm left with x squared. I probably should have put that xa in alphabetical order. So remembering that there is two of those, and I'm going to say ax. And then we have that a squared at the end. So that's typically what we see when I have a trinomial that is completing the square. I have that a squared at the end and plus that 2ax in the middle. But again, the whole idea of this activity is so that we could find what sides of our square would be the same, okay? So sometimes we get to these examples, like in number 1, where I tell you part of my trinomial, right? X squared plus 16x plus some c. We want to figure out what that c value is. So what we're going to do here is, well, I know I'm going to have a Punnett square box. I see that my x squared is going to be in that top upper left corner. My diagonal is going to be made up of whatever that that 16x is, but I don't know what my c value is. So what we have to do is we notice that this middle term is going to be whatever we combine on our diagonals. So what we're going to do, since it's a square, we're going to take that middle term and divide it in half, right? Because those two values need to be the same. So what this is going to be is 8x, right? 16x divided by 2 is 8x. That is the value I'm going to place inside that box. All right. Now next is, well, what would the outsides be? Well, to get that x squared, I would be multiplying x times x. To get that 8x, again, since it's a perfect square, we're going to see that plus 8 and plus 8 on each side, right? That's how we get our 8x. And now we can figure out what that last term, what our c value is at the end, because I can multiply 8 times 8, and that is 64. Right? That was the goal. We're trying to find that c value, which is that bottom right corner. So when I write my final trinomial, now I know that it's going to be x squared plus 16x plus 64. Alright, let's try the next one. I'm going to start off with my Punnett square. I know I'm going to have that x squared in the top left corner. I see that I have that middle term, right? That's, again, what is going to be added up together on my diagonal. So what I'm going to do, since it's a perfect square, I got to chop it in half. So negative 16x divided by 2. Make sure you keep the sign. If it's a positive, write the positive. If it's a negative, write the negative. It's going to be a negative 8x So that is what I'm going to write in each box. Again, completing the squares. Squares have the same size all around. So what that's going to give me then, to get an x squared, I'd be multiplying x times x. To get a negative 8x, I'd be subtracting 8. To get another negative 8x, I'd be subtracting by a negative 8. And again, we see that repeated each time. When we multiply to find that last term, a negative 8 times a negative 8 is a positive 64. That is what our C value is, right? So when I write that trinomial out, it's going to be x squared minus 16x plus 64. All right, moving on to number 3. Punnett square box. X squared. I see that middle term, so I'm going to go ahead and divide it in half, right? So 16x. Drop it in half because, again, that is what my two diagonals are going to add up to. So that's going to give me 3x. I'm going to complete the square now. To get my x squared, I'd be multiplying x times x. X times a positive 3 would give me a 3x. X times a positive 3 would give me another 3x. And my C value, how I complete my final square, 3 times 3 is a positive 9. So that C value, right, how we complete, literally we're completing the square, was going to be my C value. All right, so my trinomial, x squared plus 6x plus 9. So the next example here, I have 4x squared plus 10x plus c is equal to negative 5 plus c. So for this example, the c value that's on the left is the same value on the right. Do not get thrown off with that extra term on the right side, that negative 5. Ignore it just for right now, because what we have to do is we have to complete the square on the left side. So what I'm going to do is my Punnett square box. Right, I have that x squared. I see that middle term, which is a 10x, so I'm going to take that 10x and I'm going to divide it by 2. That's going to give me 5x. All right, put 5x inside each box, and I'm going to complete my square. So this is going to be x times x, and this is going to be 8 plus 5, and 8 plus 5. So 5 times 5 is a positive 25. Right? Again, that is what our C value is. So when I write my trinomial on the left side to be x squared plus 10x plus 25, my equal sign though, I have that negative 5 still plus that same C value. Okay, so we see that C value appear on both sides. We have to plug it in on both sides. All right, I'm going to go ahead and scroll it down a little bit so I can kind of simplify this. Left side stays the same, right? We're going to keep that trinomial, x squared plus 10x plus 25 is equal to, we're going to simplify the right side. Negative 5 plus the 25 is going to be a positive 20, right? 25 minus 5. All right, and that is how we're going to leave our answer for right now. All we were asked to do is to complete the square. All right, for number 5, last example for this video, we're going to go ahead and complete the square again. I'm going to start off with my Punnett square box. I see my x squared is there. I got to divide that middle term by 2, because again, we're to square. We want to keep it the same on each side. So I'm going to cut it in half. There's going to be a negative 1x. I'm going to go ahead and write negative 1x, negative 1x. Write the sides of my Punnett square box. So this is x times x, minus 1, minus 1. Negative 1 times a negative 1 is a plus 1. Be very careful with your positives and negatives. So this term right here is our C, but we cannot forget to plug it in on each side. So our trinomial, x squared, 2x, minus 1. Remember, trinomial just has 3 terms. Equals, I have that 1, but I also have to, oops, there was a plus 1 there. Sorry, my C value was plus 1. So 1 plus another 1. All right, that extra plus 1 was because I had that C value that I needed to plug in on each side. Alright, we're going to simplify that one. X squared minus 2x plus 1 equals 2. Alright, I thought that was the last one, but I forgot number 6. So number 6, sorry for all the messiness. Starting off with our Punnett square box, x squared. Taking that middle term, we want to divide it in half. Alright, so if I see that 12x, I'm going to chop it in half, which is going to give me 6x. Alright, multiplying each of the sides, I have x and x, plus a 6, plus a 6, and a positive 6 times a positive 6 is going to be 36. That value is the C value on each side. So when I write this out, x squared plus 12x plus 36 is going to equal negative 9 plus 36. Alright, so that C value we see up here on each side, so we have to plug it in on each side. Everywhere you see that C, and again, whatever you're adding to one side, you have to make sure you add it to the other side. So that's why that C appears on the right side of the equal sign. So final answer, x squared plus 12x plus 36 is going to equal, well, negative 9 plus 36. 36 minus 9 is 27. All right. Another thing that you might notice with our C values is that it's always going to be a positive number, right? Two positives multiplied together to get that final box is a positive. Two negative numbers multiplied together will give you a positive. So when we are completing the square, our C values should always be positive, regardless of what that middle term is. So that's probably something you want to just keep in mind. We should never be subtracting a number on each side, right? Our C value is always positive. All right, go ahead and start activity 2D.1. Good luck.